Hey, it's Warren here again with Copeland Small Engine Repair. And today I'm going to be talking about carburetors on two-cycle equipment, basically chainsaws and weed eaters and other handheld pieces of equipment. And a lot of shops nowadays won't even mess with these carburetors. They just get the part number, they order a new carburetor, and put it on. And the reason behind that is you can spend $15 on a carburetor kit, take the trouble to put it in this carburetor, and it still won't run right because the check valve in this carburetor is bad. And a lot of these check valves, like this little round brass circle right there, that's a check valve. And a lot of them have an open end that you can get to. A lot of times this little brass circle right here will have a pinhole in it, and you can put a piece of rubber hose up against it real tight and put the other end of this hose in your mouth, and you can sip and puff on that piece of hose, and you can hear the check valve working. You can hear it click open and shut, and you can hear air go through it in one direction but not the other. So a lot of carburetors, you can test the check valve before you waste the money on a carb kit. But on this one, you can see this side of this check valve there's nothing there. There's no hole. The open end of the check valve is right there, little brass ring. And the ethanol in gasoline, a lot of people still buy gas at the gas station, mix their own oil in it, and use it in their chainsaws and their weed eaters. And the ethanol will mess up the check valve. It makes the little disc in there swell up. So a lot of shops, including myself, usually just buy a brand new carburetor and stick it on there and be done with it, because you just go crazy trying to mess with these things. But I'm going to push this check valve out so you can see it. A lot of times you can push the check valve out, test it, and push it back in. But sometimes there's a butterfly on both sides of the carburetor and you can't get it out. It's just a huge pain in the butt. But this one, because it's open right there, I can push it out. I'll do that right now. I'm going to take this little punch and a hammer, and I'm going to punch that check valve right out of that carburetor. You can see that's the check valve. There's the hole it was in. And this is the check valve out of the carburetor. See, it's got a hole in the side of it. Well, the hole in the side of that goes to a hole in the side of this hole. And the way you check this thing, set it down, get a piece of hose, and put up against it. It's kind of a pain in the butt. That's why a lot of people don't go through the trouble of fixing these little carburetors. Get out where you can see it. I'm going to put this hose right down against the top of it. Press down real hard to seal it off. And I'm going to sip and puff on the other end of this. This check valve's working. I can suck air through it, but when I blow on it, it clicks shut and stops the flow of air. So I know this check valve's good. And if I buy a carburetor kit for this carburetor, I'll be good to go. But like I said, most of these carburetors, it's just a huge pain to get that check valve out so you can test it. And if this check valve was bad, you can even get online and find just this check valve and buy it and stick it in the carburetor and fix it. But why go through that much trouble when you just buy the whole carburetor for, $30 and be done with it? So right now I'm going to push this check valve back into this carburetor. This saw belongs to a friend of mine, so I'm trying to save him some money. I'm going to drive it back in there. You drive it back in from this side, back down flush with the aluminum, and I can get a kit for this thing and it'd be good to go. But anyway, I just want to show you, that's why a lot of shops just replace the carburetor. A lot of people think, well, they're just lazy, they don't want to work on it, and they don't understand, you don't have to replace the carburetor. Why can't you just put a kit in it? Well, it's because these check valves go bad, and once they go bad, if it's pressed into the aluminum body of the carburetor, that's why you have to get another carburetor. Anyway, I just like to show that to you. Thanks for watching.